Tails, never here from Drake Wing Gaming, and so me on Twitter, the Gaming Drag. Today I'm coming back at you another Let's Play episode of Kingsguard, Leandros' Path. So y'all, before we jump into it, just wanted to let y'all know that our Patreon is now up for as little as $5. Y'all can help support the channel, get some awesome rewards like permanent access to our community Discord server and full access to upcoming not safe for work videos. Anyway, y'all, let's go ahead and jump right back in. Alarm chain, you were up, and let's go. Alright. What? It's nothing. You can tell me. It was just a passing thought. You wagered a guess as to what it was, but that sentence does not make any sense. As to what it was, but ultimately you felt like now was not the time to bring it up. Maybe tomorrow when both of you got a bit of rest. So where are we, anywhere? What? Hapulu Island. I think that's what Jaws called it. Apparently this is his hometown. So we really are in the middle of the Red Sea. Yeah, where we can go right now until a ship comes by, apparently. The waters of the Red Sea are rough, so swimming or taking an inadequate boat is too dangerous. That's what Jaws said as well. At the very least, we are safe here. I hope. Jaws said that the creatures of the island are docile, and since everyone here is a native, it means no assassins either. True, but what? Jake, how much do you know about Jaws? Leandros, are you being suspicious of him? I just have to be sure. He's a longtime friend of Esther and Marilyn. That doesn't make him any less of a... That was loud. Suspect? Leandros, I admit he looks... Oh, I think that's a garbage truck out there. Leandros, I admit he looks scary and you have your doubts, but if he really was our enemy, he would have brought... Would he really have brought you to this village? Wouldn't he have killed me by now? I suppose you are right. Sorry, it's difficult to trust anyone these days. I'm not the one you should be apologizing to, but we can keep this between you and me. For now, we can trust him. You heard the sound of footsteps approaching the house, and Leandros began to tense up, his hands hovering over the blade that rested at his side. As the door opened, there stood Jaws with a sack in his hands. The two beastmen locked eyes with each other for so long you were starting to get nervous. Thankfully, Jaws flashed a toothy though slightly scary smile and moved his gaze over to you. Take it, I came back in at a bad time. No, we were just talking about the island. Oh, I see. He caught Jaws spying the blade at Leandros' side, and you could almost hear him gulp audibly. Well, I got you two some soap, a few towels, and a fresh pair of clothes from the villagers. Thank you. The watering hole isn't too far away if you think you can walk the distance. I'll be fine. Right, well, follow me. Gah! What was that about? Leandros? Sorry, just a force of habit, I suppose. Just don't start anything with him. He really is a nice guy once you actually know him. Let's just go and take a bath and then get some sleep. You're probably more exhausted than I am. Are you still okay to move? Yes. Leandros stirred, and once again helped him keep balance. Second, y'all. Coffee time. Oh, yeah. He tried to back away from you, but he nearly fell once more. Hey, I'm here to help, alright? I'm sorry. Here I'm having to rely on you for something so simple. Let's just take it easy. We'll move slowly. Also, leave that behind. You saw Leandros start to reach for his blade. You don't need that where we're going. Alright. It took a while to guide Leandros to the bath. He kept urging you to let him walk the rest of the way, but you ended up holding him steady till the very end. Just as Jaws had said, the water was warm and there was no one else around. He left you your things and gave the two of you some privacy. At first, Leandros sniffed the air, then looked around before likely deciding it was safe. It would probably take a while for him to feel comfortable enough here to drop his guard. But maybe it was a good thing that he was always so vigilant. I think I can handle it from here, Jake. Thank you. Are you sure? Leon, stop acting so stubborn. Right now you need to put aside your pride. You're hurt. I'm here to help you. I suppose I could use a little help undressing, if you wouldn't mind. Oh, he looked down at what Leandros was wearing. It was just pants and his greaves. All things that were probably difficult for him to remove in this state, but that would require him fully undressing. I can do it if you feel uncomfortable, Jake. I understand what I'm asking you is a little bit embarrassing for the both of us. Assist. Show me that dick! I said I was going to help you. Jake, you really don't have to. And leave you to struggle by yourself? Come on, take a seat on that rock over there. I guess you won't take no for an answer. Alright. After assisting Leandros over to a rock and setting him down, you started to undress him. Only thing was, you weren't quite certain where to start. From a glance, his armor looked simple enough, but you noticed there were belts and straps every which way. You tried tugging on his greaves to remove them, but they were stuck on tight. Pull on that backwards and flip that belt up. Like this? He followed the lion's instructions, and eventually one of his greaves came loose enough to be pulled off. Sorry, guess I'm really not being that much of a help, am I? It's alright. You've never needed to wear battle armor. It can be a bit tricky to get at first. He followed the same procedure with the other foot and then set the heavy boot aside. Alright, so next is the... Leandros was nearly undressed except for the belt wrapped around his pelvic region. Just thinking about removing it turned your face red as a rose. Jake, you don't have to help me with that. Are you sure? Be honest, I'm starting to feel a little senile having you undress me like this. But I think I have enough strength to do the rest myself. If you don't mind. Oh, yeah, sure. I'll be over there if you need me. So, coffee time. Thank you. You gave Leandros some space and turned your back to him. His grunts from behind you told you that he might be having a bit of trouble, but you resisted the urge out of respect for his privacy. Eventually, you heard him stand and make his way over towards the water. Ah, wow, this is pretty nice. He turned back around and saw Leandros dunking himself under the water and coming back up for air. His entire mane was soaking wet, and he started to pull out twigs and leaves and washing away the dirt. Jake, you, getting in? You had been so distracted by everything that you had forgotten that you had come here to take a bath yourself. Yeah. As you started to undress, you took a few glances over at Leandros. At first, it was just an absent-minded stare, but then eventually your mind started to produce all sorts of thoughts that were beginning to have an effect on the lower regions of your body. You tried to shake them loose, but like digging a hole in a rainstorm, they kept flooding back in. Before you noticed, you quickly slid into the water a bit of ways and tried to focus on something else. Feels like ages since I last had a bath. The water feels great, doesn't it, Jake? Yeah. He was right. The moment you submerged, the warmth melted your weary body like butter, and you felt all your pain and tension begin to drain away. But right now, you were just focused on keeping your shame hidden from view. Jake? Yes? What are you doing all the way over there? Huh, are you afraid that I'll attack you again? What? No, I just... You looked down at yourself nervously, noticing you were still quite erect. It's alright. I understand. After all, even I don't know if I might attack again. It's probably for the better. I'm not scared, Leandros. It's just we haven't bathed like this since we were kids. I guess I'm just a little nervous. Nervous? Well, we're both, It seemed to take Leandros a moment before you realized what you were implying before his face turned a bit red. I see. I suppose we should be a bit more modest now that we're no longer kids. Then you really aren't scared of me? The water seemed to obscure enough down below, and you felt your excitement drop since you had first got in. Jake! Leandros, I trust you. I would never be afraid of you. And even if you do go batshit crazy, I know that you'd stop yourself before I come to any harm. It's not a good reason to trust me and come over. Well, if that's not good enough, you are the one with the soap. So I guess I have no choice now, do I? You gave the lion a wide grin and hoped it was enough to calm his nerves, though you did have to do your best at not staring down into the water. Being this close, nothing was really obscured, so you could make out a faint but distorted outline of his cock. Thank you. You turned your back to the lion and started to wash yourself off, the sand and sediment sliding off your body and into the pool with each rinse. It was a wonder the water was still so clear if the entire village used it. Ugh. Can't reach. It looked like the lion was trying to itch his back, but the soapy suds in his hand and a large, clearly unwashed area on his backside told you all you needed to know. Anything else? Hey, Jake? Yes? Would you mind... No, never mind. I shouldn't bother you with such a trivial thing. If you need something, you can ask me. I'm here to help you out. I can figure it out. Just say it! It's my back. Your back? What, does it itch? I can't reach it. You want me to wash your back? I felt ashamed for even asking you to do something like this, but... Sure, yeah, that's no problem at all. You hoped you didn't sound a little too excited about that. Maybe Leandros was still a little loopy and wouldn't notice. The lion turned himself around and you reached for the soap, your heart starting to beat as loud as a drum. An audible gasp escaped your throat as you slowly inched your fingers forward. You tried to push your wanton thoughts to the back of your mind, but they just kept coming forth in waves. They clouded your judgment so much that you had to remind yourself to use the soap. Oh my. Alright, Geralt. After looking at them feet, oh my god! After lathering your hands, you started from the top, your fingers running through his matted fur. Despite how dirty he was, his fur was still soft to the touch. Only beastmen who were very well off or ever had fur or hair so smooth it was like touching air. Every mountain of muscle your hands palmed over sent shivers down your spine. Soft at first touch until he began to flex unconsciously. Being so close was just another reminder of how massive he was. You remembered that he always had to have a clothes tailor made to a size above, as he would rip through them just doing a menial task like picking something off the ground. Like one time during a dinner where, after wearing one of his shirts that shrunk after being washed, he went to reach for a glass of wine and his entire outfit just shredded apart, buttons flying across the room, leaving him and his skivvies at the table. You had to shake your head to clear your thoughts. This was no time to be daydreaming. Yet, you couldn't help yourself. It had been so long since you had been in the company of another man that your fingers, your body, craved the warmth of flesh. You wanted to lay your head against his soft back, wrap your arms around his waist and hold him close, to feel his heartbeat, to have him feel your heartbeat. Jake, is everything all right? His deep voice finally snapped you out of your salacious stupor. There was no way you could tell him your inner thoughts. You pulled your hands away from his back. You weren't certain you could hold yourself back any longer. Just a bit of soap in my eyes. He took a break from washing his back. He was plenty lathered up and started on his mane. There was still a tangled mess of twigs and leaves to find. Honestly, perhaps it would be best to cut it short. Though his mane was his pride and joy, he always said that a lion without a mane was like a bard without his lute. You were never quite certain what he meant by that, but he always said it with a gusto you just assumed it was something important. Especially when there were maneless lions. After plucking out whatever you could find, you combed your fingers through his mane and get out any knots. You know, coffee time. Alright, let's, okay, alright. With each stroke, he elicited a low growl, quite like a rough purr. You stifled a chuckle as Leandros' ears flickered backward. Alright, all done. Thank you. Leandros dunked underwater one last time to rinse off the soap. He remained under for some time, but resurfaced just before you started to get worried. Then he slowly squeezed the water out of his mane. Despite the silence, you could tell something seemed strange. Leandros? There was something mesmerizing about Leandros' eyes. It was as though you were under some kind of spell, entranced, falling deeper and deeper into those amber gems. Your breath became heavy, your heart pounding so hard you could hear it in your ears. Something strange yet familiar was happening to your body, a feeling that would bring with it the most intense bliss, but also the most deepest despair. What brought this about, you wondered? Was it his eyes? His mane? His lips? His body? And why was it happening now? Perhaps you had always felt this way, for years and years, but could never admit to it. You found yourself leaning forward, closing the distance between the two of you. You closed your eyes, not wanting this feeling to ever end. Jake? What are you doing? Your heart stopped at his words. You didn't even want to open your eyes. What did you just try to do? There was no taking it back now. The way he looked at you, you wished your body would just melt away into the water. Okay, now, alright, I'm going to go ahead and pause it right there. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and check out our Patreon if you can. It always helps. Before I go, I'm going to give a quick shout out to our lovely bronze tier patrons. Thank you all for all you do for the channel. We greatly appreciate your support. Thank you to our silver tier patron, Cade Silvermoon. Thank you for going a bit above and beyond. It's greatly appreciated. And thank you to our gold tier patron, Amr. You're awesome. We love you. Thank you for subbing to our ultimate tier. Anyway, if y'all want to get your names in the credits, get access to our not safe for work contents as little as $5. Alrighty, I love you all, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye-bye!